And now, Andrew Does Everything proudly presents Cinderella, based on the story of Cinderella. Once upon a time, there lived a young girl named Cinderella. Cinderella had 3 ugly, mean stepsisters named Olive, Nina, and Esme. Olive, Nina, and Esme made Cinderella do all the chores. "Sweep the floors, wash the dishes," said Olive, Nina, and Esme. One day, the king of Onlyville's messenger said, hear ye, the king of Onlyville is going to throw a ball. And whoever has the most beautiful gown and crown shall marry his son, Prince Singling. But Cinderella is not welcome. Her stepsisters are. Olive said, he's going to marry me. Nina said, no way, Olive. He's going to marry me. Esme said, both of you are wrong. He's going to marry me. Later, Cinderella is so sad that she cannot go to the ball and marry Prince Singling. Suddenly, her fairy godmother arrives and asks Cinderella what is wrong. Why are you crying, Cinderella? She asks. Cinderella responds, I wanted her to go to the ball and marry Prince Singling, but I'm not welcome. The fairy godmother waved her wand and chanted the magic word, Winnity, Waterity, one! And then, Cinderella's chores are all done. But the fairy godmother is not done yet. She said, Cinderella, go fetch me a good old pumpkin. Luckily, Cinderella has one pumpkin. The fairy godmother waved her magic wand and chanted the magic word, Winnity, Waterity, one! Again, and to turn Cinderella's do-rag and clothes into a gown. I've never seen such a wonderful gown. I get a load of my glass slippers, and then the pumpkin into a carriage drawn by 2 strong horses. The fairy godmother said, have fun, Cinderella, but I will warn you, return home before midnight, or the spell will be broken. Cinderella accepted the warning. Meanwhile, at the ball, Prince Singling was wondering who he should marry. Olive, Nina, and Esme said all together, he's walking towards me. But he's not walking towards any of them. He's walking towards Cinderella. Cinderella and Prince Singling dance happily together. But later, Cinderella realized it's almost midnight. So she scurried out of the ball, and she was running so fast that she lost one of her glass slippers. Prince Singling was so worried that he might never see Cinderella again. So he traveled around Onlyville to find her and brought the glass slipper with him. He knocked on the door of the house where her Cinderella and her stepsisters lived. He said, ladies, I have a favor to ask. Can any of you try this glass slipper? Olive is first, but her foot is too big. Nina is next, but her foot is too small. Esme is last, but her foot didn't fit either. Suddenly, Prince Singling noticed Cinderella singing. Cinderella said, Prince Singling, is that you? Prince Singling said, of course it's me. Cinderella gets so excited because she's having to have her Prince Singling back. And they lived happily ever after. The end. I hope you enjoyed this story before bed enters doors. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share to my video. Take care. Bye and good night, everybody. And now, Andrew Knows Everything proudly presents Cinderella. It is based on the story of Cinderella with a bit of a twist. Once upon a time, there was a young girl named Cinderella. Cinderella had 4 ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters named Nina, Isabella, Natalia, and Ella. Nina, Isabella, Natalia, and Ella made Cinderella do all the chores. Sweep the floors, wash the dishes, do it all, said Nina, Isabella, Natalia, and Ella all together. One day, the king of Nottingham's messenger arrives and says, Hear ye, the king of Nottingham is going to throw a ball, and whoever has the most beautiful gown and crown shall marry his son, Prince Nottingham. But Cinderella is not welcome. Her stepsisters are. He's going to marry me, said Nina. Isabella said, No way, Nina, he's going to marry me. Natalia said, Both of you are wrong. He's going to marry me. Ella said, All 3 of you are wrong. He's going to marry me. Later, Cinderella is so sad about not going to the ball and marrying Prince Nottingham while doing chores. Suddenly, her fairy godmother arrives and asks Cinderella what's wrong by saying, Why are you crying, Cinderella? Cinderella responds, I can't go to the ball and marry Prince Nottingham, but I have lots of chores to be done. Cinderella's fairy godmother said, I can help with a bit of magic, and waves her magic wand. Because of that, Cinderella's chores are all done. But her fairy godmother is not done yet. She said, Cinderella, go fetch me a pumpkin and some mice. Luckily, Cinderella has 9 pumpkins and 18 mice. Cinderella's fairy godmother waves her magic wand again to tell her the 9 pumpkins into a handsome coach, the 18 mice into horses, and Cinderella's rich clothes into a gown and crown. Cinderella said, I've never seen such a notable-tastic gown, and get a load of my glass slippers. How can I ever thank you enough? Cinderella's fairy godmother said, Well, you can't. But have fun, Cinderella. But I would warn you, return home before midnight, or the spell will be broken, and everything will change back to the way it was before. Cinderella accepted the warning. Meanwhile, at the ball, Prince Nottingham was wondering who he should marry. He's walking towards me, said Nina, Isabella, Natalia, and Ella all together, but he's not walking towards any of them. He's walking towards Cinderella. May I have this dance? Asked Prince Nottingham. Cinderella responds, I would be delighted. Cinderella and Prince Nottingham dance happily together. But later, Cinderella realized it's almost midnight. So she scurried out of the ball, and she was running so fast that she lost one of her glass slippers. Prince Nottingham was so worried that he might never see Cinderella again. So he traveled all around Nottingham to find her and brought the glass slipper with him. By the time he arrived in knocks on the door of the home where Cinderella, Nina, Isabella, and Natalia and Ella lived. But instead of Cinderella, he finds Nina, Isabella, Natalia, and Ella. Prince Monopoly then said, "Ladies, I have a favor to ask. Can any of you try on this glass slipper?" Nina is first, but her foot is too big. Isabella is next, but her foot is too small. Natalie and Ella did the same thing, but none of their feet are the right size either. Suddenly, Prince Monopoly noticed Cinderella's sweet singing. The glass slipper fits! Cinderella gets so excited because she's happy to have Prince Monopoly back. And they both lived happily ever after. The end. Andrew's Doers, I hope you enjoyed this story. And if you want to see some sequels to Cinderella, something like that, etc., tell your friends about it. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share on Andrew Does Everything. And buy our merchandise too on AndrewDoesEverything.com. Take care. Bye. And now, Andrew Does Everything proudly presents 49erella. It is based on the story of Cinderella with a bit of a twist. Let's tell you the story, shall we? Once upon a time, there was a young adult girl named 49erella. 49erella had 9 ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters named Farah, Olivia, Ramona, Tanya, Yvonne, Nina, Isabella, Natalia, and Ella. All 9 of them constantly made fun of 49erella and made her do all the chores. 49er wench, sweep the floors, wash the dishes, do it all, said them all together. One day, the king of 49ville's messenger arrives and says, "Hear ye, hear ye! The king of 49ville is going to throw a ball, and whoever has the most beautiful gown and crown shall marry his son, Prince Non-Quadrantupling." But 49erella is not welcome. Her ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters are. They are overjoyed. They ran with huge excitement and picked out dresses to wear to the ball, but argue over who will Prince Non-Quadrantupling marry. Later, 49erella is so sad doing chores about not going to the ball and marrying Prince Non-Quadrantupling. Whatever will I do? She went first. Suddenly, her fairy godmother arrives and comforts 49erella. There, now, 49erella. I can help with a bit of magic. Nobody will know it's you, she said. She then waves her magic wand. And because of that, 49erella's chores are all done. But her fairy godmother is not done yet. She said, 49erella, go fetch me a pumpkin and some mice. Luckily, 49erella has 49 pumpkins and 98 mice. 49erella's fairy godmother waves her magic wand again to turn the 49 pumpkins into a handsome coach, the 98 mice into horses, and the 49erella's brick clothes into a gown and crown. 49erella says, "I've never seen such a Non-Quadrantupling-tastic gown! And get a load of my glass slippers! Fairy godmother, how can I ever thank you enough?" And climbs into the coach. 49erella's fairy godmother says, "Well, you can't, but have fun, 49erella, but I will warn you. Return home before midnight, or the spell will be broken, and everything will go back to normal. And so, 49ers accepted the warning. Meanwhile, at the ball, Prince Nana Quadriga Tumbling was wondering who he should marry. Wondering who to marry, son? Asked the wise, kind-hearted, and bold King 49Ville. To which Prince Nana Quadriga Tumbling responds, "Yes, father." "You're going to marry me, Prince Nana Quadriga Tumbling," said Farah, the oldest of 49erella's ugly, mean, wicked stepsister. "Farah, wrong. You're Prince Nana Quadriga Tumbling. You're going to marry me," said Olivia. "Both of you are wrong. Prince Nana Quadriga Tumbling, you're going to marry me," said Ramona. The rest say, "You're going to marry me, Prince Nana Quadriga Tumbling." But Prince Nana Quadriga Tumbling angrily denies the request. Suddenly, 49erella arrives at the ball just in time. Prince Nana Quadriga Tumbling sees her, walks straight towards her, and says, "You must be 49erella. May I please have this dance?" To which 49erella responds, "Yes, I would be happy to." And so, 49erella and Prince Nana Quadriga Tumbling dance happily together. But later, 49erella realized it's almost midnight, so she scurried out of the ball. And she ran so fast that she left one of her glass slippers behind. Prince Nana Quadriga Tumbling was really worried that he might never see her again. The king of 49ville comforts her by saying, There, no, son. I think we'll be able to find 49erella." And so, the next day, Prince Nana Quadriga Tumbling and the king of 49ville traveled all around 49ville and tried to find 49erella, who captured Prince Nana Quadriga Tumbling's heart and brought the glass slipper she lost with them. By the time they arrived, they knocked on the door of the home where 49erella and her ugly, mean, wicked stepsisters lived. But instead of 49erella, they find Farah, Olivia, Ramona, Tanya, Yvonne, Nina, Isabella, Natalia, and Ella. Prince Nana Quadriga Tumbling then says, "Ladies, my father and I have a favor to ask. Can any of you try on these glass slippers? Farah is first, but her foot is too big. Olivia's next, but her foot is too small." "Nonsense! It fits!" she said. The rest did the same, but none of their feet are the right size. Suddenly, Prince Nana Quadriga Tumbling and the king of 49ville noticed 49erella's sweet singing. "Prince Nana Quadriga Tumbling and the king of 49ville, your majesty, is that you guys?" she hollered excitedly, to which the king of 49ville says, 49erella, my dear daughter-in-law, we found you. Will you marry Prince Nana Quadriga Tumbling?" 49erella and Prince Nana Quadriga Tumbling are now married. They, along with the king of 49erella, lived happily ever after. The end. I hope you enjoyed this story, Andrew Stewards. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share, and Andrew Does Everything, and buy our merchandise at AndrewDoesEverything.com. And take care. Bye.